So since I was 15, I've always wanted to work in manufacturing, and that was a desire brought about by actually getting a Sony Walkman for Christmas and being absolutely fascinated by Japanese manufacturing techniques. So since then, I've always tried to pursue a career in manufacturing, first in industry with companies like ICI and Dyson, and then for the last 20 years or so, actually in academia. So InterAct for me was the opportunity to be at the forefront of developing the next generation of manufacturing strategy, because digital technologies were always going to be at the heart of that. And more so, it was doing it in a way that didn't just do one project, but actually provide that opportunity to create a movement for change, to bring together many people that shared that passion and could actually think about bringing together different perspectives so that we could really shift the dial and create the future that we wanted for UK manufacturing. So if we look out to 2050, we really see some major challenges. The way in which we've pursued economic development since the Industrial Revolution has been consumption-driven economic growth, and that is now beginning to show some signs that it's actually harmed society. So we're seeing social inequities increase, but it's also perhaps harming the environment too as we start to see the climate crisis really emerge. So we really have to start to rethink what growth could be so that we can thrive in balance. And that different approach to growth will actually require a different approach to the manufacturing ecosystem to achieve it. And what we've seen through the work we've done in InterAct is that future is likely to be more cooperative. So firms need to not only collaborate, but they need to learn how to collaborate to compete. It also means that we're not going to just take a firm perspective anymore. We're going to have to take an ecosystem perspective and bring in very different perspectives, maybe finance or insurance, as well as the more traditional sort of customers and suppliers and manufacturers. And we're also going to have to consider about being much more circular so that we can't just make a primary product, but we need to think about how we keep things in their highest possible value state. And all of that and the different business models that will create can only come about if we use digital technologies to enable it. So creating the change that we want requires us to really think differently about the future. And that requires us to be cautiously optimistic about what that future could be. The first thing we can do is actually help organisations to co-create or to think about what that future could be and to stretch their imagination. So the way that we could do that is through perhaps running strategy workshops, either with individual firms or their ecosystems to see that future. The second way in which social sciences and business schools could help is actually this requires courageous leadership. But how do we create those courageous leaders that can set that agenda and then actually bring not only their own firms, but the ecosystem with them? And then thirdly, if we're really going to bring this about, it requires a very interdisciplinary approach because some of those challenges that we face could be economic, they could be about the future of work, they might be about how we write business cases, they could link to the legal or regulatory aspects. So that requires actually a range of different social science perspectives to come along and help enable that change. I think one of the things I've learned is that you have to keep an open mind, that you can have a vision and a direction, and perhaps you should never lose sight of that. Perhaps you have to change your approach or adapt your approach in terms of how you're going to get there. I think the second thing I've learned is never underestimate the potential of your colleagues. I think you have to have an open mind to those different perspectives, and sometimes you need to trust people to deliver. But they may well do that in a different way to what you intended. But usually that delivers a better outcome than you could ever have envisaged. And then the third thing I've learned is the benefit of co-directorship. And that's provided both a resilience and a support mechanism and just has enabled InterAct to operate at a level that I don't think it could ever have operated at if either Jill or I had led the network on our own. So InterAct brought people together in all sorts of different ways. So we've had over 71 different events, and I think that's probably an understatement of it. We've brought people together online through our mailing list and through our LinkedIn group. But really how I think we've brought people together is around the cause. I think those people that are committed and part of the network really want to create that better future together. I think what's really interesting is when other people comment on the difference that they observe when they see the InterAct community together compared to other academic forum. I think InterAct, because it's transdisciplinary in its nature, means we're open-minded and we appreciate the differences and we've got that shared vision of where we want to go. I think sometimes, perhaps with some of the more traditional scientific subjects, the mindset's more single disciplinary, and whilst they want to reach across, perhaps they find it more difficult or they don't have the same shared goal. And I think we've had some specific feedback that what makes us different is that energy, that commitment to the cause, that is really about bringing people together to bring about that change. So I think the first thing, and this is perhaps where we could look at countries like Singapore, even the Middle East, they do have very cautiously optimistic plans for the future. So UAE, Saudi, Singapore, they have 2030 plans that really try to transform their nation across a range of different dimensions, and manufacturing would contribute to that. The second thing is, in order to deliver those ambitious plans, they've got really quite well structured skills development plans and approaches, and they put funds behind it. And I think they've also created the leadership, that courageous leadership, to take people on that journey. So I would fully advise them to think about co-directorship. And actually, Jill and I didn't actually know each other before the start of the project as best buds. We saw each other at academic conferences and sort of knew that we had a shared interest in manufacturing, but maybe from slightly different perspectives. So we knew of each other, but not intimately. And I think what we had was a shared sense of purpose. So we both had a true belief. So I would advise people to find someone that shares your vision and values, but not necessarily someone that's your best bud, because actually what you want is somebody that can complement you and bring those different perspectives, so you actually, the sum of the parts is greater than the whole.